Hello everyone. In this video lecture, I will demonstrate how to solve a productivity problem. So this is problem number 3 on page number 65, and we are referring to 14th edition of the Operations Management book by Stevenson. So here we have to compute the multi-factor productivity for each week, and the data is for the production of chocolate bars. And then once we calculate the multi-factor productivity, we need to sort of give suggestion what these productivity figures mean. So that's what we need to do here. I'm gonna be extending this problem a little bit more. uh, I will also calculate the labor productivity, the material productivity as well. This is not asked in the question, but we're going to do it as an extension. These are the data that's given. We have 40 hours per week for each employee, the working hours. Then we have labor cost per hour equals $12. Then we have over cost equals 1.5 times the labor cost per week. Okay, and material cost is $6 per LB. And so we have been given how many chocolates is being produced every week. So we have 30,000 first week and 33,600 second week and henceforth. And then we have number of workers being used every week and number of the amount of material being used every week. So that's the input we have been given, and based on this input we have to calculate multi-factor productivity as well as labor productivity, material productivity. Now you need to understand the difference between labor productivity, material productivity, and multi-factor productivity. So labor productivity simply means that you take the output and divide it by the labor input, just the labor input. Now the labor input, it may be in labor hours or it could be labor cost as well. It all depends. In these cases, we've been asked specifically to calculate in the units of unit per labor hour. So we have to do that. But if had it been labor cost, then probably you would have used dollars. That's okay. So if you are doing labor productivity, which is kind of just considering one input, then your unit will differ, okay, based on the situation. It could be labor hours, it could be labor cost, and it could be something else. Likewise, material productivity could be output divided by the amount of material that you're using. So it could be units per LB, or it could be units per material cost as well, per unit dollar of material cost. That could be the thing as well. It all depends which one is more relevant given your situation. But in this case, we've been asked to calculate units per LB of the material. Okay. Now, when it comes to multi-factor productivity, so multi-factor means you're considering more than one input. Okay. So how many inputs are here, are given here? Well, we have labor input, we have material input, and we have overhead. So there are 3 inputs. So we have to calculate all the 3 inputs and then divide the output by the sum of those 3 inputs here. Now, multi-factor productivity simply means you're considering more than one unit, one input. Okay, so it could be 2 inputs, it could be 3 inputs, it could be 4 inputs. It will differ based on the problem. Okay, sometimes you may not be given overhead costs. You may be just given labor cost and material cost. Other times you may be just given labor cost and overhead cost and not the material cost. So you have to just consider 2 of them. That's perfectly all right. It depends on the type of problem that you're solving. Okay, so another thing you need to keep in mind about multi-factor productivity is that the unit for all the inputs has to be same. Okay, so if one cannot be in labor hours and the other one cannot be in LB, okay, or pounds. They all need to be in the same unit. So we want to make sure that our labor input, our material input, and our overheads, they are all in the same unit, and often that unit will be in terms of dollars. Okay, so we're going to calculate separately those 3 inputs here in terms of dollars, and then we'll use these 3 inputs to calculate our multi-factor productivity here. Okay, so that's a little background here. So let's get going here. So first thing is the labor productivity in terms of units per labor hour. Okay, so this is how we will calculate here. So here equals to our output. So productivity simply is the ratio of output to an input. As simple as that. So this is the output, and the input that we're going to use here is the number of workers. So it's going to be 6 workers we're going to use at times. Each worker is working 40 hours a day. So I'm going to press F4 here. Okay, so just to make it an absolute, and then each hour the labor is being paid $12. So again, I'm going to fix this one. Now why am I fixing this one, these two cells? Because I don't want these two cells to change, because they are same. C5 and C6, they're going to be same for every row here, but worker is going to change. Okay, that's why I want to keep it fixed. So it's going to be 10.42 labor hours. Okay, and if you drag it down, it's going to be like this. Okay, so that's my labor productivity in terms of units per labor hour. I'm sorry, I guess I did a mistake here. This is in terms of dollars, because I included a dollar here. So this becomes units per labor dollar input. Okay, that's something you have to keep in mind. So if I just want it to be in terms of hours, then I have to take out this C6 here. Now this becomes in labor hours. Okay, it's good that you got to see both of them. Okay, so if I go back here, this is basically units per labor dollar input, and if you go here, this is unit per labor hour input. Okay, so that's something you have to keep in mind. So likewise here, the output is this 30,000 bars divided by um, this is amount of material in LB, right? So this is just going to be divided by E11. Okay, and that should be it. Okay, so this is again per LB. If you want to calculate per material dollar input, then what you're going to do here, let's say function F2, I will simply multiply this one by $6. Okay, and I'll fix this one because this $6 is same. So this becomes unit per material dollar input. Okay, so it depends what is being asked to calculate, but we're gonna retain it to uh, units per LB. So that's what we're gonna get here. Now, so I'm gonna color this one. This is my labor productivity. This is my material productivity. So I'm gonna color this one as well. Let's say like this one. And this is my multi-factor productivity, which I need to calculate. I'm gonna color it by different color. Okay, so to calculate the multi-factor productivity, we need to make sure that we first calculate the labor cost in terms of dollar, material cost in terms of dollars, and overhead cost in terms of dollars. So how would you do that? So here we are using 6 workers. Okay, each worker is working 40 hours per week times, I'm gonna say here function F4 to fix it, times they are paid $12 an hour. So I'm gonna make this function F4 fixed as well. So it's gonna be like for week 1 we are paying in total $2,880, okay, for our labor cost. So if you drag it down, and you know, since we fixed this one, so that's the reason we have to fix it again. So I'm sorry here, so function F2, so you see that, you know, C5 and C6, they're fixed. Okay, so they're fixed everywhere. If you go here, you're gonna see the C5 C6. Okay, they're not gonna change. So this is how you calculate the labor cost in terms of dollars per week. Now let's calculate the material cost in terms of dollars per week. That's going to be equals to the amount of material we're using times $6 per LB. And then I'm going to fix that one. And this is my total material cost for first week. And if you drag it down or double click on the plus here, you will get it, you know, material cost for every week. Okay, so overhead cost is simply we know that it's 1.5. I will fix this one because otherwise it's going to create a problem. That's 1.5 times labor cost. Okay, that's what it said, 1.5 times the labor cost. Okay, so that will not be fixed because I need to drag it down. So if you just bring the cursor here, you see this dot here, square dot, just come here, so you see that solid plus sign and double click on it, is gonna send it down. Okay, so this is how you calculate the overhead cost. Now all the three inputs are in dollar terms, and that's what you need when you calculate the multi-factor productivity. Okay, so how would you calculate the multi-factor productivity here? So that will be equals to, again, my output divided by my, I'm just gonna do sum because we already calculated each one differently, and I will sum these three together. Okay, and that should give me my multi-factor productivity. Okay, now this is something I did not do it right. Okay, I'm sorry for that, but let's go ahead and fix this one. So F2 here, this is 1.5 times the labor cost here, not the labor productivity. Okay, so that should be my H. Okay, so this is the correct cost I'm getting now. Okay, so now this is my productivity, and you know, send it down, so you get the productivity for all the weeks here. So this is how you solve the problem, and now you have to conclude. So you have to write the concluding remark. So based on the labor productivity, you see that it's steadily going down. So is the multi-factor productivity steadily going down, right? But when you look at the material productivity, it was down first week, and then probably it remained constant more or less for the rest of the weeks. So we have to put this thing down in writing. So we're gonna say here conclusion. So I'm gonna say one, labor productivity dropped steadily from a high of 125 to a low of 0.63 units per labor hour. Okay, number two. Okay, material productivity was lowest in week 1, but after that it was stable around 70 units per LB. Okay, number 3, multi-factor productivity steadily, I'm gonna say dropped steadily. Okay, hold on a minute. Dropped steadily from a high of 3.03 units per dollar input to a low of 2.84 units per dollar input. So this is how you have to write the conclusion. Remember, just solving is not enough. You need to pay attention to the conclusion, to the units, like units per labor hour, units per pound, or units per dollar input. So all these things are very important when you're solving the problem, and you have to write the conclusion. Okay, and while writing the conclusion, you have to make sure you mention the units. Okay, something you have to keep in mind. So with this, I will end my video here. Thank you very much for watching.